On this week's edition of The Overtime, NAU basketball is getting into the flow of their season, while NAU's football season is coming to a close. Then, NAU swim coach Andy Johns has taken center stage, not for swimming, but for singing. Finally, we will talk some college football playoffs and NFL football. All of that and more on this edition of The Overtime. Hello and welcome to The Overtime, Northern Arizona's only sports show. I'm your host, Brian Adams, and today I'm joined by my co-host, Noah Butler. Noah, how you doing this evening?
I'm doing great, Brian. I'm also excited to highlight the abundance of basketball we had this week.
The NAU men's basketball team is playing some good ball to start the season and are on fire throughout the first 5 games of the year. Behind the duo of senior guard Trent McLaughlin and redshirt junior guard Jaden Jackson, the team's looking like a dominant force in the Big Sky this season.
They absolutely are, Brian. NAU may have only played NAIA teams to open the season, but the Lumberjacks have still come out victorious in 4 of 5 games to open the season, for the first time since 2001-2002. Sports reporter Ashley Hinchy caught up with players after their game against Embry-Riddle on Tuesday.
Several hundred school children filled the Roll Activity Center stands to watch the NAU men's basketball team roll past Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University 82-47 during a rare midday game on Tuesday. The Flagstaff Unified School District field trip crowd witnessed the Lumberjacks improve to a 4-1 on the season, their best start in over 20 years. NAU was coming off a road win at Pacific last week, in which senior guard Trent McLaughlin scored his 1,000th career point. The Lumberjacks started to slow after the noon tip-off on Tuesday, causing head coach Shane Burkar to call an early timeout.
No, we didn't make any changes at all. We were doing good at that point. Then I overthought it and made some changes that didn't work when we were trapping those ball screens. So the second half is when we made those changes.
NAU led by 10 points at halftime and pulled away with the win in the second half. McLaughlin led the team with 21 points and had 5 assists, which was just one more than redshirt junior Jaden Jackson. Jackson had his best game of the season so far, tying his career high of 18 points, 14 of those being scored in the second half.
The guys were looking out for me, so they were putting me in great positions to score. Shout out to Trent and Oak for having the high assist game too, and C-Tal as well. You know, whenever you cut, always expect the ball somewhere because he could get it to you anywhere. So I probably credit them mostly for the points tonight and just playing hard.
The NAU Lumberjacks will look to match their best start since the 2001-2002 season at home on Friday against Incarnate Word at 6 p.m. in the Roll Activity Center. Ashley Hinchy, NAZ Sports.
The Lumberjacks sure have played well. We will see if they can keep it up against Incarnate Word on Friday at Roll Activity Center.
Women's basketball has also had a strong start to its season, as it has won 4 of its first 5 games. Preseason Big Sky MVP Sophie Glancy has lived up to that title, as she's averaging 17 points and 9 rebounds a night.
The team continued their strong start last night in Roll. Sports reporter Aishaya Tanaka caught up with the players after the game against Arizona on Wednesday.
NAU women's basketball hosted in-state rival the Arizona Wildcats on Wednesday evening at the Roll Activity Center. After a close first quarter, the Lumberjack defense made adjustments to overcome a 16-point deficit and beat the Wildcats 92-75. Head coach Lori Payne describes the switch in defensive strategies that were needed for this matchup.
Yeah, we needed other people to step up, and I think for us, having 6 players in double digits and having so much depth to where, Leah put the team on her back for a stretch, Naya put the team on her back for a stretch.
Coach Payne credited a total team effort for helping the Lumberjacks improve to 4-1 on the year for the first time since 2018 to 2019.
We don't typically play zone, it's really our third defense for us, but, we knew coming in, we're like, hey, the teams that have played Arizona close a little bit or in the past have played zone, and so we may need to go to it.
Senior guard Leah Beatty played a crucial role in the team's success in the second half, shooting 4 3-pointers in a row.
Once I hit that first one, it's like, okay, I can settle in, so we kind of went on that run, and then it was just kind of like I was shooting it, and I was just like, dang, I feel like I can pull it from half court right now. I was just feeling confident.
Beatty's confidence was also led by her team's performance, which resulted in the Wildcats' first loss of the season.
I think we all just played as a team so well, found each other so well. When they were clogging the paint, that's when we found the shooters. I think that just kind of led to opening everything up for everyone else too.
The Lumberjacks will travel to Fort Collins to compete against Colorado State this Saturday at 6 p.m. Aishaya Tanaka, NAZ Today.
After that showing against the Cats from down south, the Lumberjacks head to Fort Collins on Saturday for yet another Mountain West tussle, this time against Colorado State. The team is 1-1 against the Mountain West this season.
I agree, Noah, and I'm super excited to see how that game turns out. But on the gridiron, NAU football is what could be their last home game this weekend, and sports reporter Adriana Sparks caught up with some of the players who are going to say goodbye to the Skydome.
There's just nothing like it. The Skydome lights, loud, proud fans, and NAU football. But some Lumberjacks might be kissing the Findlay Toyota Field goodbye. Linebacker Tommy Ellis is among 13 seniors being honored on Saturday when the Jacks take on the Eastern Washington Eagles in their final home game of the season.
Blessings on blessings, ups and downs all the way, but a story I wouldn't want written any other way.
Ellis, a Valley native and Mountain Ridge High School alum, is rounding out an incredible collegiate career at NAU, having now been a Lumberjack for 4 years. But even tight end Bryze White, who transferred from Eastern New Mexico, is grateful for the time he spent in Flagstaff.
I feel like this coaching staff has given me more opportunity to be myself. Last season I was here in my first year at D1, so I was trying to get my feet wet. But I'm proud of myself for getting to this point in my life, and I always get better.
But while these seniors will embark on a new journey next year, head coach Brian Wright is left having to foster new leaders to fill their shoes.
They've been the model of what we want our program to be all about. They just attack the work every single day, no matter what we ask them to do.
While a win against the Eagles will maintain the Jacks' perfect record at home, this game is so much more than just an extra mark in the win column.
I love y'all, man. I'm proud I could be on y'all team. Let's go get a win on Saturday.
See you Saturday. Pack the dome.
Go Jacks.
Adriana Sparks, NAZ Sports.
It's very sad to see some of these players go, but it's nice knowing they have a chance to keep their season alive and find themselves in the playoffs. So it might not be the last game of the season for some of them.
NAU does have a chance to make the FCS playoffs this season, as its 5-2 record in a strong conference could bolster its chances to be one of the 16 teams in the final bracket. However, it needs to win on Saturday to stay alive.
Watching a game with playoff implications in the packed Skydome will be super exciting. But stay right here, because after the break, we will catch up with swim and dive coach Andy Johns, who has a secret hobby up his sleeve.
Meet the Scan, a simple procedure whose mission is to detect lung cancer early.
I'm here to save you.
But I feel fine.
That's great, but you may still be at high risk for lung cancer.
Oh man, that's a new fence.
If you smoke, early detection could save your life. Learn more at Saved by the...
Hey, can you chop the pineapple? Chop the
pineapple.
Nope. I'm high. How about I wash off the grapes?
Yes.
Okay.
You're already making good decisions when you're high.
I want tacos. Will you drive? I'm a little toasty.
Nope. I'm high. Let's order in.
Don't make an exception when it comes to driving. If you feel different, you drive different.
Welcome back. NAU Swim's 11-year dominance in the WAC Conference and continued NCAA success can be attributed to one man who has been with the Lumberjacks for nearly 3 decades.
Coach Andy Johns has been with the Lumberjacks for 29 years, but behind the scenes, he's also been a part of the Master Choral of Flagstaff. Sports reporter Ashley Hinchy caught up with Coach Johns at their previous concert, Following a Light.
NAU swim head coach Andy Johns has sent an athlete to the Paralympics, won 11 straight Western Athletic Conference championships, and had athletes break almost every school and aquatic complex record that was made before him. But on top of these amazing accolades, Johns has also made his return this semester to the Master Choral Flagstaff in the Following a Light concert, singing second tenor. Johns was a part of the Master Choral from 2005 to 2015, but took a break for 9 years. Johns describes how his mother's passing brought him back to music.
Felt like I was missing a little something. I felt like I needed a different little outlet, and I think some of it, from my mom. My mom was kind of the reason I got into all of this in the first place, and she passed away this summer, so kind of feel like singing is partly for her as well. And
senior swimmer Rachel Lytle was one of several athletes to show their support for their coach by coming and watching him perform for the first time.
Actually, no. We knew that he sang, but we didn't ever know it was like something he did beyond just for giggles on the pool deck. So watching him do it like as a performance was a lot of fun.
Members of the swim team watched his concerts as a way to give back to Andy for being their mentor and friend.
I was really excited to come here today just because Andy cares so much about us, and he's always there for us on the deck, so it was really nice to come and support him doing something. I've always heard him singing throughout the year, so the second I knew he was doing this, I was so stoked to be here and support him.
But the choir doesn't end there. Coach Andy Johns will be performing in the next choir concert, Carols in the Mountains, on Saturday, December 14th at 3 p.m. And the swim team can't wait to watch him again.
We will be at the Christmas Carol one. Yes!
Ashley Hinchy, NAZ Sports.
It's so crazy to think the team had no idea that he did this, but it's so nice that they showed out for him.
That's so kind of them. And, fun fact, Coach Johns has sung the national anthem at NAU men's basketball games.
That's so awesome, Noah. And currently, Andy and the swim team are in Grand Junction, Colorado, competing in the Colorado Mesa Invitational, hoping for a victory. Their first day of events was yesterday, and NAU stands in 4th place with 108 points.
We have to take a quick break, but stay with us because we'll be talking about all things football.
Hi! Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert. Oh, he took a sip of water too. That'll probably help. You were probably gonna turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right?
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home. I blew on him.
If you love them enough to drive an hour to cheer them on as they get beat 11-0 in the rain, then surely you'll check NHTSA.gov/the right seat to make sure they're correctly buckled in the back seat.
Throw that ball, Diane. Woo! You got this.
Welcome back. Looking ahead before we talk some football, NAU Cross Country has their NCAA Division I National Championships this weekend in Madison, Wisconsin, and we are wishing them the best of luck.
That we are. Local high school winter sports are also starting soon, including both Flagstaff and Coconino Wrestling. The Eagles start their season at Bradshaw Mountain on November 26th, and the Panthers begin their season on December 4th.
In other news, the college football playoffs are right around the corner. Noah, who do you think are some of the top players we'll see in the playoff this year?
Right off the top of my head, I think Ashton Jeanty out of Boise State, Heisman favorite, and, he's been dominant. Also, Travis Hunter out of Colorado plays two ways on the ball, and, we can look at some other less star-studded teams like SMU out of the ACC who are putting on quite a clinic.
Yeah, you mentioned teams like SMU and teams like Boise State. Boise State behind Ashton Jeanty and their defense has been able to compete with some of the best this year. They lost on a game-winning field goal against Oregon, but aside from that have run the table. What do you think makes that team so special?
I think just the continued dominance of Jeanty, the amount of carries he gets, and just his dominance in the backfield. The defense can stack the box against him, but that's not going to stop him from scoring.
Mm-hmm. And Boise State's projected to play in the Fiesta Bowl this year, but this isn't the first time that they've played in a Fiesta Bowl.
No, you look back to 2006 against Oklahoma, where they upset the Sooners on the 2-point fashion with a Statue of Liberty pass. I mean, that they have history in the Fiesta Bowl, and I think they could do it again.
Mm-hmm. It'll be interesting to see who can separate themselves from the pack, but this is what makes college football so interesting. But let's get into another league. The NFL is back, and it's in the flow of its game this season. Who are some of these star players and some of the surprises that you've seen so far in the NFL?
So far throughout the beginning of the season, I see Bo Nix in Denver. He's been having a great rookie campaign. The whole state of Pennsylvania as well, with Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. Russell Wilson is leading his team to offensive victories, something the Steelers haven't seen a lot of. And, Saquon Barkley is continuing his dominance, and with backwards hurdles over the Jaguars, the team it's not looked as great.
I think you're completely right, Noah. And you mentioned the Steelers. Earlier in the year, you wrote in the Lumberjack that you didn't think Russell Wilson was going to be like a key piece for them. They should keep in Justin Fields. But Russell Wilson's filled in and has made the team a really successful team behind their elite defense.
And, I wanted to see Justin Fields continue his development because he didn't get a lot of that in Chicago. But Russell Wilson, since stepping in, he is undefeated as the starter, and I think he's added a spark to an offense that has not been there since really 2019. But the Steelers look good behind Wilson.
Yeah, and another team, you mentioned the other Pennsylvania teams, another newcomer in Saquon Barkley. It's been a really interesting season, and we'll see if these teams can, kind of make a playoff push and make it towards the Super Bowl towards the end of the year.
Absolutely, Brian. But I think that's all we have for you tonight. Thank you all for joining us for this edition of The Overtime.
I want to thank our sports reporters Ashley Hinchy, Adriana Sparks, and Aishea Tanaka. I'd also like to thank my co-host Noah Butler. I'm Brian Adams, and we'll see you in 2 weeks for the next edition of The Overtime.